What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to the show. So today we're going to go over the payment schedule for Social Security for September. So we'll focus on that. And I want to talk a little bit about Congress and when they're going to be in session and not in session. And then we need to talk about what's coming in September when it comes to our budget, because every year we're in the same situation. This year is no different, so we'll talk a little bit about that. But first off, you guys can do me a favor. Please like the video. If you're watching this video and you want to see more content like this, please consider subscribing to the channel. Okay, so let's get right over to our calendar. We're going to take a look at the payment schedule. Now remember, and let me come back because I will always get someone in the comments saying, I know when I get my Social Security check. You have 10,000 new people becoming eligible for Social Security every day. So you have a lot of people who are applying for Social Security, and this is their first month receiving Social Security benefits. And so I like to show them when they're going to get their Social Security benefits. And then also for those people who are receiving Social Security checks, it's a good idea just to look at the calendar so you'll know when you're going to receive it. What day are you going to receive it on? Or is it a weekend? Does that mean that it's going to push your Social Security check forward, or a holiday pushing your Social Security check forward, which we're seeing in September? So these things are important, and that's why I go over this every month. Okay, so let's go ahead and get right into it. So when it comes to Monday is a holiday. So September 1st is a holiday, Labor Day, and so people receiving SSI, you're going to receive your check in August. Now that is the check for September. So in August, you receive 2 checks, but you're not going to receive a check in September. So I just want to make that clear. And I talked about that last month when I did the payment schedule for August. Okay, so the first payment's going out in September is going to be Social Security SSDI if you started receiving your Social Security benefits prior to May of 1997. And then on the 10th, the second Wednesday of September, those checks will be going out for people who receive Social Security and SSDI if your birthday falls between the 1st and the 10th. And then on the 17th, that is people whose birthdays fall between the 11th and the 20th. And then on the 24th, that is people whose birthday falls between the 21st and the 31st. And then also, I want to talk about a special date. That is the 11th. And we're going to find out information from the Bureau of Labor Statistics when it comes to the CPI and the CPIW. CPIW is what we're focused on because they are using July, August, and September to calculate COLA for 2026. And so we're going to be paying attention to that. I'll make sure to get back to you guys and let you know what the CPIW was, and then I'll show you guys what the projections are for COLA for 2026. So the 11th, that's an important date for us to focus on. Okay, so now let's look at what to expect from Congress in September. So the House was on recess all of August, so they didn't work in August, and so that's why you haven't really heard much from Congress. But now, and I say they didn't work, they were in their home districts. Let's just say that, okay? So they weren't working in D.C., which means they couldn't put together legislation and pass legislation. And so what we're looking at September, they're going to return on September 2nd, and September 2nd to the 5th, that first week, they will be in D.C. From the 8th to the 12th, they'll also be in D.C., and from the 15th through the 19th, they'll be in D.C., and then on the 29th, they'll be in D.C. And then they'll be back in their home districts on September 22nd, between September 22nd and 26th. And then when it comes to the Senate, they will be in D.C. from September 2nd to the 19th, and then also from September 29th to the 30th. And then they'll be in their home districts between September 22nd and the 26th. Now, the reason that I'm showing you guys this, and they have a recess that's in there. They shouldn't have any recess at all. They should be in D.C. the whole month of September. And the main reason for that is because they need to pass a budget, okay? And they're probably not going to pass a budget. Let's be realistic here, because every year we see the same situation where we get to the 11th hour, September 30th, and they're trying to figure out what are we going to do about the budget, and they pass a continued resolution until sometime in December. That's generally what they do, and that's probably what they'll do this year. And so we're going to hear a lot of talk of this government shutdown, October 1st, if they can't put together a budget, and they're going to wait until the 30th, and then they'll say, well, we're going to just continue it until December. And so I'll be very, very shocked to see if they do have a budget by October 1st, because they never do. And so for those of you who don't know the budget will be for 2026. Fiscal year 2026 starts October 1st. And so they need to have the money in order to spend to all these different agencies. And so we're going to hear a lot of talk, and we're going to hear a lot of back and forth, and we're spending too much money and all of this, but we'll probably see that continued resolution. And I'm just interested to see how much money they are planning to spend in 2026. And when you look at the numbers so far, we've been spending a lot of money in 2025. 2026 is going to be the same. You hear the talk of, well, tariffs, we have tariffs and that will help out. It's not helping out enough because we have a spending problem. Congress spends a lot of money. And we just saw the big, beautiful bill that is set to add $3 to $4 trillion to our national debt over the span of about 10 years. And so we're still spending. And so I'm interested to see what they do when it comes to the budget and how much they're going to be spending. And just if you want to look at stats alone, the fact that we had the National Guard and we had an increased police presence in D.C., that was said to cost about $1 million a day. Okay, and so they were planning to do it for 30 days, and the president wants to extend it out even further than 30 days, and so they're going to need Congress in order to do that, unless the president calls this a national emergency, and then they keep the troops there. But you're paying $1 million a day to have this happen, and so when we're looking at the budget for 2026, are they going to be incorporating that in there? This $1 million a day. So that'll be something else that we'll be watching. Okay, let's look at some more of the comments that you guys have posted. And this is coming from James. James, thank you for the comment. It says, how far along is the check Trump said may be mailed out to the people? And the key point here is may be mailed out. And so let's talk a little bit about this. What he is referring to is a $600 rebate. Tariff rebate is what President Trump was just talking about in early August. Now, what's interesting about this is he is putting this information out there, but it has to go through Congress. Congress, they legislate. They're the ones that create these bills, pass them, send them to the president for final signature. That's how things work. So if you're asking, where are we in the process? We're in the very beginning stages of the process. Okay, you have one senator, Senator Hawley, that says he thinks this would be a good idea, and he introduced this bill into the Senate. But it would need to go through the committees in the Senate. They would need to do more research with it. The CBO would have to come out with a report, and then they could bring it to the Senate floor and pass it in the Senate. Then it would have to go to the House, and the House would do the same thing. And then they could pass it in the House, then it would go to the president, and then the president can sign it. So there's a long way to go when it comes to this. And already, and I've talked about this, when it comes to the $600 rebate, tariff rebate, it's not popular. The president says that he wants something like this, but it's not popular in Congress. And so because it's not popular in Congress, it's probably not going to go anywhere. And the main reason for it is because the money that's being collected right now as a result of tariffs, first off, that money is coming from us, U.S. consumers and companies. Okay, ultimately, it's the company that pays, the company in the U.S. When that product comes over, they're paying for that tariff. That money is going to the federal government. And then it's up to that company to decide if they want to pass that cost on to the American people. And so that's how that's working right now. With that money can go to pay down our debt. That money can go to pay other things. We don't know exactly where the money is going to go. And so this rebate check that they're talking about, in Congress right now, you have fiscally conservative Republicans that they don't want to do this. They don't want to provide this rebate check for the American people. And so because of that, and we have Republicans controlling the House and the Senate, they would need Democrats to support this bill. And so in order to get Democrats to support this bill, we'll have to see how that would work. But it will be an uphill climb in order for us to see something like this. And so that's just the reality. I wanted to put that out there. If you guys have any more questions about that, let me know in the comments below. If you like this video, please give me a thumbs up. Please subscribe for more, and I'll talk to you in the next one. Bye. So that's all we have for this video. Make sure if you guys want to send me an email, you can do that, david@thetecshow.com. Like the video, subscribe for more, and check out these videos over here for some more great content. Talk to you later. Bye.